Okay, so let's understand the punctuation of the class, how a class will look like in terms of white spacing, separator, identifier, literals and comments. Let's go to the eclipse. So in this main program there is a white space, that is a space between two words, like this. You can see that. So the comment, how do we write the comment will be written like, if it is single line comment, this will be 2 slash, and then this is my single line comment. If you want to do multiple line comments, you just need to put like this, and where you can put, this is multi-line comments. So this is the place where you can change the, where you can correct your spelling. So this is how you will put your comments and white space. Let's talk about identifier. So identifier is nothing but the name of variable. So suppose inside a method we can write variable that is class member. So suppose I am saying that some variable, say data type, is any variable we will define like data type and the name of the variable. So and say identifier. So this is the one identifier. I have just given the name of identifier, you can give anything. So the condition is, again I will say identifier. So these are the two identifiers. So you can see that these are case sensitive, so it will not be same. What you cannot do, another way is you cannot start with any identifier name starting with any digit. It should not start with any digit. It can start with underscore, that's valid. It can start with $sign. This is how you can give your identifier names. So in other way you can say these are the variable names. So are in terms of oops, it is a attribute or property of the class. So the scope of this identifier is at the class level. So anyone inside this class can access these variables. So another is, if I put these variables, I'm cutting from here and pasting over here. So you observe that the color of these variables haven't changed, because now the scope of this variable is inside the method. So you can see that when from this curly braces, this and this one, this will tell you This will give you one hint that what is the scope of any variable inside that. So because these variables are inside this method, so the scope of this variables are inside this method only. So no one from outside can access this. I will tell you later when to use class level attributes or variables, or when to use method level variables. Let's go to another topic. So let's work on literals. Literals are string variables. So I will say string my var, and you can give any string literal. So it could be blank, or you can give one letter or many, xyz, anything you can give. So these are the literals. Few things to remember: when you create a class, the first letter should be capital, and it should follow the convention of camel convention. What it says should be written in any class, will be written in first letter should be caps, and next is learning, so it should be also caps. This is for class. And for variables, always like happy learning in terms of variables, in terms of functions. So suppose you are writing one method called void my own method. So these are the three words that I used to give the name of method: my own and method. So the convention I followed is it should be camel. So small, first letter of the first word will be small, then first letter of the second word will be capital, then so on. So first letter of the third word will be capital, and like this you can carry on. So this is how the little bit convention you have to follow while doing the Java coding. In the whole session, in the whole video, I will keep on informing about what is the convention to write the code, so you can keep those things into the mind. Next thing is about Java keyword. So Java keywords are predefined keywords that Java compiler will understand. So in this class itself, you can see that anything which you see as a bold, that is identifier, that is keywords. So in this case, public is the keyword, class is the keyword, int is the keyword. Remember that string is not keyword, void is keyword, static is keyword. So whatever you are seeing in that is keywords. Let's talk about few things, few keywords. This is the list of keywords in Java. There are so many. So 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So total 48 keywords are there. So far we have used class, then we have used int, we have used public, we have used return and some example. Right, so these are the keywords in Java. So I will tell you in detail when we proceed in the exercise. Just for a glance, let's have a look on this keyword. So abstract is used for marking the class or method as abstract. Default is the default access modifier if we use for making any conditional statements. Private is again access modifier. This is used to denote the current object. Assert is used to check some validation, do some validation. Do is to perform some action that will be used for doing some loop, some action in the loop. Implements that used for when we are trying to implement any inherit interface. Protected is again access modifier. Throw is used when we are throwing some exception while doing the exception handling. Boolean is used when you try to use any attribute which is Boolean type, true or false. Double is used when we try to have some number which is big float. Import is used when you are trying to use a API into some program. Public is again access modifier. Throws is used for exception handling. Break is used when you are trying to work on loops. So once your condition is met, you can break. So and switch statement also the place where you can use the break. Else is used for along with if and else. So instance of is checked to the type of the object. Return is used when you are trying to return from a method. Transient is used when you will come to know when you are doing the Java programming for persistence. So transient is used when you don't want few attributes of the object to be persist. So those attributes which are marked as a transient will not be persist in the database or will not be serialized. Byte, this is a primitive data type. Enum is used for the predefined set of constants. Int is again a primitive data type. Sort is primitive data type. Try is used when we are handling this exception. Case is used when we use switch. Extends is used when we try to do the inheritance. Interface is again for inheritance. Static is used to denote, we have used in our earlier program. Static is used when we try to mark a method as a static so that we can call that method without creating the object of the class. Void is used, that is also we have used in last program. Void is used for when we are trying to say that method is returning nothing. So when method returns nothing, then we use the void return type. Catch is used for handling the exception. Final has too many meanings. Final is used for making class final, making variable final. making method final, and long is again primitive data type. Strict FB, I will tell you later. It is not it is very rarely used. Volatile is again used for when you are handling with serialization. Char is again primitive data type. Finally, finally is used when you are trying to do the when you are handling the exception. Native is when you are trying to access something which is written in the native. Super is used when you are trying to access something from the your parent, that is used in inheritance. While is used when you are handling with loop statements. Class, that is very much used when you create a class. Float, again primitive data type. New is used when you are trying to create the object of any class. Switch is again used with case. Continue is used for handling with loops. For is again for loop. Package is when you are bundling your Java code into a package, and synchronized is used when you are handling with concurrency. So these are the keywords which are very frequently used in your programming. So let's talk about separators. So as you saw that this separator that is used when you are trying to denote a array. So if I say int x equal to new int so it means that I am trying to create array of 5 integers. So this bracket is used when you are creating the array. This separator curly braces is used when you are trying to create method. So for opening and closing curly braces, that is used for opening with opening the class and closing the class, opening the method and closing the method, like this. And this is also used when you are trying to define array. So this is you are directly giving the value, saying that you are having size of 5 integer, and I would say 1 to 34 45 or something. So because it is duplicate, let's give another name, because you already given the values, no need of giving the size. So this curly braces is used for many purpose, opening and closing for the method and for class, and you are also using for creating the array as well. Right. So this bracket is used when you are trying to create a method. So that is the signature of a method. You have to give the name of the method, and this bracket parenthesis, this parenthesis, where you can write the argument, multiple arguments based on your need. So this is the purpose of this parenthesis. And the purpose of parenthesis is when you are trying to create the object, say string str is equal to new string. So here you are creating the object of string class. So the convention is this one. So basically you are calling a constructor, which is again a method. So when you are calling a method or using a method, you have to use this symbols, that is parenthesis. Comma, that is used like when you are trying to separate the content in an array. That's the place where you will use comma. So let me correct in my PPT as well. So this is basically comma. That is the first usage. Second usage is when you are trying to declare the multiple variables in the same line. Suppose you have created two arrays on the two different lines. What we could do, we could do the same thing like this. So here one integer with size of one integer x with size of 5, that is array integer, and second is array integer of which is already given the values content of that array. So these are the places where you can use comma. You may come to know where are other places while processing this progressing in this course. And it also uses the it is also used in the defining the multiple parameters in the method. So if you say int x and comma int y. Semicolon is used to separate one statement with another one. You can write these one in same line, but these are the three different statements because those are having this symbol. So this is used for separating two statements. Those statements can be anything. So right now it is variable declarations. It could be like if you say that this is also a kind of two statements. Earlier we mixed these two statements. Period is used to call the method of any class. Suppose I have one object, I have created one object. So if I want to access the object of methods on this object, so I can use str object name, and then you can see the method of all the methods on that object. So suppose I want to see the length. So this is the method which I want to use. So I want to print the length of this string. So I will do something like this. So this period is used to access the modifier, access the method of the object. So suppose you run it, because I have just say new string, I am not giving anything, so the length is coming 0. Suppose I am giving my name here and run it, will be 4. The length of this string is 4. So we are done with separators. Let's move to Java packages.